Second, you have the floor.
Actually, I was getting to the garbage can too, but, what comes out of miscellaneous?
The garbage pickup, when they come and do the floors, Princetown, I think, cable, the internet, things like that, Shiloh was there.
I know, sorry. There's a lot, there are many different things that come out of that, and it's, this budget was lean to begin with. So, my guess is at this point, with us taking videography out of miscellaneous, that it's going over pretty quick. That was my question. Where are we in miscellaneous right now?
$10,000 was budgeted, and $5,531 remains.
So in 4 months, we're halfway through town hall miscellaneous.
No, I'm sorry, that was what was used.
4,000 was used, so we have 6,000 left around.
No, we have 4,000.
Sorry, the variance is enough.
Yeah.
44.60.
Is what's left for 8 months. Okay, well, and to the garbage can point, regardless of $130 is expensive for a garbage can, I agree. However, the type of garbage can that I understand was purchased for the community room was something nicer because we rent out the community room. And I'm pretty sure for the last 4 years, we haven't spent one dime of the revenue that's come in from the community room on the community room. So it sounds to me that we're spending a lot of money in other places, yet we are going after a $130 garbage can from a room that brings in its own revenue that we haven't spent anything on in a long time. I was just curious to know where the budget stood. Thank you.
And any additional comments?
I didn't realize that privileges of the floor was a dialogue between the person speaking here and the town board. But I did want to bring to the point that Pat Bishop showed to me in the zoning law, which Carol, Dan, and I both all read about home kennels. Back to my point about the number of dogs allowed. The home kennels is probably the closest thing within the zoning law that indicates how many dogs are allowed, although it refers to home kennels, and I don't think that the law is very clear as how they define home kennels, whether it's actual a structure that they're limiting it to, or they're limiting it to the property. And that's on section 714 of zoning law dated December 2006. Just, I know that we're going to research that a little bit further, just a little bit more detail for you.
Did you say there was a number? Is there a number in there? Limit number?
Limit number 3.
3.
3 per kennel. 3 per home kennel. Not everybody has a kennel. I don't know that anybody has a kennel. And so I think the language is unclear. And this is the problem that Dan and Carol and I all had. We just weren't sure how to interpret that within the law.
And what do you mean by kennel?
It's defined in the zoning. A home kennel is defined in the zoning as any structure or land on which dogs are kept.
It may be for
For
feed.
harboring
I guess the
dogs.
question would be, if somebody just happens to own 6 dogs, do they, by definition, now have a home kennel?
I would say so.
Or, well, unless the
It's
statute
as
defines
opposed
it,
to a commercial kennel, which is different.
it really depends how the statute is worded.
Right.
I mean, it may well be that it's for a fee, as opposed to just keeping
For a
the.
fee?
It only becomes a kennel if you are taking dogs in
It's
for a
not,
fee.
no, the definition, this says nothing about fees. It's for the home use.
Well, that's
Do you have a copy of it right
The
there?
definition of a home kennel, any structure or land in conjunction with a residence that is designed or frequently used for harborage of dogs belonging to the occupant. But you have to have a specific kennel
No, you
to be
don't. It
okay.
says structure or land on which the animal is kept, does it not?
but it's,
Okay, thanks. We'll, thank you for the update.
There's one.
It's probably another law in our vast number of laws that need to be updated, so we will take it under advisement. But thank you, Darla, for helping that. Public comment? slowly?
Oh.
No, it's okay, go ahead.
You got the answer.
Nancy Lee, Dwaynesburg Road. Let's see, I was looking at the procurement policy, guideline 5. A good faith efforts were made to obtain required number of proposals or quotations. The purchaser is unable to obtain required number of proposals or quotations. The purchaser should document the attempts made of obtaining the proposal. In no event shall the inability to obtain proposals or quotes be a bar to procurement. That seems to say that we need the quotes, but if you can't get the quotes, you can procure anyway.
What, if, let's say you wanted to, let's say we're talking about a car, and you mailed out three, a request for quote to Chevy, request for quote to Ford, a request for quote to Toyota, and they don't respond, then you've made a good faith effort to solicit a proposal. But you still need to buy a car. So, as long as you can document that you've made a good faith, an attempt to get a proposal or a quote.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So at that point, I will close.
Actually, I have one more thing I wanted to say. Last Monday, well, it's not actually town business, it's more of last Monday in this town, we lost a resident who's been here for a long time. His name is Homer DeBell. Homer unfortunately unexpectedly passed away on Monday. He came to many town board meetings. He supported many people in town. He served in the fire district. I was a little disappointed to see it wasn't on here tonight, and nor was he mentioned. He was a good resident and a good friend, and I think he should be remembered. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you. All right, let's close the part of the meeting for public comment. Open it up for councilman concerns. Bob, you want to start with you?
Can I address the topic that we have there, or
Yeah.
other than that, I don't care.
Joe?
Thank you, Melanie, for bringing up about Homer. I did not know that he passed away. That's sad, sad moment for the town.
Yep.
So, anyway, thank you.
Luke?
Yes, we're still in, talking with, Joe and I are still talking with the solar. Joe's been in contact with another company
Yes.
that we're gonna be looking into. I spoke with, I think it's Stephanie again today. She's going to look at the pump houses and all throughout the district, generating systems and all, and see if there's a possibility of installing solar panels on them to reduce the cost. She does have the billing, and she does have the addresses, so she can check under, what is it, the Earth, Google Earth, to see if it's possible to place them on. She's probably going to want to come out and take a tour of them, along with, I forgot his name too, Irby, Steve Irby, so.
Well, we have to pass the them Dan's, what he said about the setback.
Right, right.
That changes the whole game.
Right.
So I think we need to address that. The other company from Buffalo, they're gonna give us a web presentation proposal, basically. And Dan, it might be a good idea if you could listen in and voice any of your concerns as you hear them. So I'm sorry that we didn't get you involved before.
There is a substantial savings for the people that weren't here before. I think the total was what, 12 to 13,000 a year,
I mean,
roughly from what they estimated on the electric bill, and with no cost to the town as far as the installation and the purchase of the equipment. So to me, it's a win-win situation if we can get along with something like this and talk to the people. And Joe and I are going to be going over to Mechanicsville to see the installation that they're going to be installing there, along with the Ford dealer over there, and Haney's golf carts, they put them on, and also DCN furniture, from what they said. So they're going to give us a tour of it, and I think it's a good thing. I think we should continue to pursue this. Unless Joe wants to add anything to that.
although and I don't understand the full details, but Monolith presented an option or a proposal that said they would pay everything. No cost to the town for a 30% reduction in our electrical bill. Now, this new company, it's a different term, and I don't understand it yet, but Thursday of this week, we're going to have a web conference with them, and they talk about a lease, where we would lease a solar array from them, and we would keep all of the generated electricity from that. Now, we'll be able to weigh the pros and cons, in the wood company.
There's a number of different ways, options for these kind of things. There's other income streams that come off of these types of systems. You can basically plug the electricity back at the meter, so on Saturdays and Sundays, when there's nobody here and it's quiet, that solar panel is still generating electricity, and you can actually sell that back to the grid. So it may not be all energy savings, but it may be that there's actual income being generated off of these. And then the companies both kind of mix and match this kind of thing in order to either maximize the deal they get or maximize the deal you get. So the devil's really in the details.
I do need one thing. I'd like the contact person that you, Carol, for the contract that we signed with the state police, because I'd like to talk to them about, possibly if there's a way we could still get them involved and have one system, split up. They're talking about splitting up the system, part of it going to the state police and part of it coming here. That's why they were talking along the ridge there.
Yep.
And I need a contact person to talk to them about it.
Yep.
You good?
And that's all I have right now.
Mr. Edwards?
I just would like to thank Melanie Whiteley for mentioning, recognizing, and honoring the memory of Homer Bell. I actually was going to mention it on the day that Homer was rushed to the hospital. I actually come home early that day, and as I turned on the Pangburn Road, I was passed by 2 emergency vehicles from Platterkill, and I immediately made a note, what the heck is Platterkill doing all the way down here? So I knew something was bad, just not what at that time. Didn't find out till later that night what had transpired. So
When did it happen?
Monday night,
Monday.
Monday afternoon,
Just
about
past
5
month?
o'clock.
Really?
Well, no, not,
We met this
Last
week-
month.
a week ago
Monday
Monday.
before.
Oh,
He mowed his lawn, went inside and struck.
heart attack?
thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
That's all.
And on that note, Pine Grove and Potterville were there within minutes, and they put every effort in as they do on every single call. And it should be noted too that we're very lucky to have them as well.
I have no concerns for this week, or for this month, so we'll open up to discussion here. So, as probably everybody in town hall knows, and hopefully most of the board here knows, we've been having troubles with the printer. We tried to change the board out. Tim and I came in on a Saturday to try to push patches through to it. We've changed the board, we've changed it again, although now, Carol, looks like it may be stable, I don't know.
Yeah, looks pretty good now.
So, I don't know, the last call out we had from Eastern Office Supplies, he had a used model in there for $2,500 $2,700 with the scan and fax capability. It's like a used car, I think it only had 20,000 pages. Supposedly it's supposed to last, you know, a couple million pages. So I put it on the agenda here for discussion with the board. Do we take the chance to keep going? Do we get authorization to go ahead and bring them in? Eastern Office Supply was pretty much the low bidder, especially now with the used unit. The risk is obviously spending the money. The other risk is if this printer dies again, you know, Carol's got a lot of work, Michelle's got a lot of work, you know, the assessor's office has a lot of work and it gets backed up. And so I guess I'm just looking for thoughts, suggestions. Do we want to go ahead and purchase one? Do we want to just sit and wait? I mean, it seems pretty stable. The last one was dying like every 10 hours, it seemed like.
Well, if we're up and running now, is there any way we could take and go with what we have now and have a proposal on the floor to go ahead if something happens? I mean, does that make sense? I mean, if we were to use, if it's working now and say it lasts us for another 6 months, or if it died tomorrow, could we have some stipulation in there to where the board could okay to go ahead and get some?
We could have a contingent resolution, sure.
I think it's a great idea.
Where would the money come in your budget?
We'd have to look at it, probably eventually implement a contingency account. But
But that's something we need, so.
We want to do something for the rest of the year.
well, the issue is, you know, obviously cost. The lease, I'm not sure about lease. I'm not a big fan of leases. So,
Well, the used one, does that come with a warranty like the new one?
come with a warranty and a service contract.
Answer.
Yeah.
For how long?
Pretty much to the end of the life. I'm not sure, it's usually 4 or 5 years to the end of life.
And they want how much?
Pretty much 2,700. I mean, again, I'm willing to, you know, I hate to say roll, you know, but it's, yeah, you know, it could last, it could hold.
Carol, what's your feeling?
About HP in general.
I think a contingency resolution is a great way to go.
Yeah.
You have town hall repairs, now this isn't town hall repairs, but you could transfer out of town hall repairs, about $10,000 in that line. But there is no equipment in there, I thought there was a line.
So
What would a contingency resolution be?
that if it, let's say it dies tomorrow, that we don't have to wait a month or have a special meeting, you know, we've already got.
In other words, we all just vote or agree that if something happens to it, that it's okay to go ahead and get something.
To purchase a, you know, very specific resolution just to, you know, to a dollar limit, saying, let's say $3,000, that, you know, if it dies in the, you know, it's considered DOA, then we can go ahead and purchase it.
Eastern, everyone's on very low volume,
Mhm.
so they're close by.
And they're, I think their new machine was the cheapest, which was about 3,900, I think. The used model was 2,500 or 2,700.
And it has all the features of fax, and the copying, and the scanning. Okay. Well, I think that's the right way to go.
Todd, your thoughts?
Ideally, I would like, you know, I understand that, you know, the thing kind of, you can't predict when it's gonna, you know, crap out on us, but, yeah, ideally, I'd like to have budgeted for the expenditure, and have been able to get the one that we really want. And I feel like we're kind of under duress, and maybe just coming up with, buying something that's the most economical because we didn't budget for it, when in reality we were better off buying a new one, maybe because our needs, merit it. So I guess my opinion is, I would prefer to have that budgeted, planned, really researched, got what we wanted within those budget dollars. Not having the ability to do that, I would not want to necessarily buy something that was less expensive just because we didn't have that opportunity to do that, and then spend more money on it. So I guess for me, I'd make sure to get what we want. And if we're gonna be pulling money from someplace else anyway, the difference, I don't know the numbers here, but I don't know what the difference is, enough, small enough difference that we can just get what we want. But maybe this lower price one that you're talking about, these one is what we want, I don't know.
So, was that a yes to contingency, or contingency resolution, or?
Sure, I think your contingency resolution probably makes sense if you don't know what's gonna happen in the machine. It's been down before and we've gotten through it, right?
At least it was 3,900.
So we're talking,
That's matching apples, doesn't it?
Yes, pretty much. I mean, I have to go look at the brochure.